3.3 Major Project, Project 3, Developing an Idea. This is a case study of my sketchbook. I've started the sketchbook with some assessment feedback from 3.2 and some tutorial feedback. Some of these ideas have moved forward into my mind map, which I always start my sketchbook off with. I've been continuing to use the playground as a source of inspiration, making drawings. They're a little bit more abstract, and then these are translating into colour wraps for colour palettes, and then knitting machine samples and other textile pieces as responses to any of my drawings and photographs, which is building up a archive of research, working with block colour, working with stripes and block colour. The idea of stripes and lines is still filtering through, and I'm also developing the idea of tubes. So I'm quite liking these ideas to move things forward for some three-dimensional performance pieces. Looking at various areas of the playground, he's changing the colour palette. So I've been continuing to work with this rather than staying in one area. I don't want the colour palette to necessarily continue throughout the whole of the project, but I also don't want it to become primary colour based. Working with my mannequin and using the body as a platform, I've attached some of my drawings, which again is a process that I enjoy for selecting and sorting, and still continuing as mini projects to draw, working with block colour, translating with various yarns to generate new sources of information, and also my understanding of yarn development, because I may not always be able to use the fancy type yarn because I'm going to be working more large scale, and financially it's not viable for me. New research has developed. I'd looked at Jean-Paul Gaultier's cage jackets and skirts, and also the Victorian crinoline, and researching Vivienne Westwood's mini croonie. Now this, I've been able to purchase these pieces because as I've placed them around my mannequin, I can now kind of play with the idea of changing the silhouette of the body and possibly attaching some of my knitwear. But this actually came from an idea of some activity structure within the playground, and as we can see it looks quite industrial, but all in all I think this idea could possibly work. As we can see, me changing the silhouette of the shoulders. This pushed work further forward, and I've been able to look at body braces for the back. This is a lot stronger with Velcro fastenings and so forth, so if I continue with project 4 for armour pieces, these might be quite substantial to use the pre-made body strapping as a platform to attach the pieces. I continue to use other and find other sources of material to obviously generate new ideas. One area that I'd looked at, which I was particularly attracted to, are circles and holes. Now these photographs gave me a colour palette, so I was able to just stick with one colour palette and use shape through drawing. I then looked at large scale pieces, and these large scale pieces I cut holes through, with the idea of the audience being able to view through the holes, and then these large structures I could play around, bend and build on outside. Making a continuous effort to make research for wearable mixed media, because the mixed media with the knitting needs to be durable if we are to use these pieces for performance and movement. And also what coincides with this is I need to continuously draw design ideas that are going to fit with my mixed media, and also, which is just as important, the knitting techniques. as we can see, a large scale colour wrap, and then here I've developed the colour wraps, looked at some areas, fancy yarns and the tone and shades, and working with the photographs. Through here we will see some new drawing, which you will see shortly, and you can see the large scale pieces that I worked with earlier, so you can see how large these pieces are, which have inspired some of the work. And again, just working with the process from drawing, translating this into drawing and adapting onto the crinoline platform, which would be used for performance. These do also resonate from performance research from the Bauhaus Ballet, which I started to look at the shapes and the forms. Through here we can see this particular piece has just been focused on the circles and holes. I've left out some panels because I don't want to restrict the movement of the crinoline too much. Working alongside, I've worked with another project. This one is a lot more colourful. You've just seen the drawings on that, and there's a lot of photographic evidence of this work. Now this piece, my aim was to develop my knitting technique, actually knitting what I see in some of the drawings. This particular piece was inspired by this through here, and as we can see through here, the holes and the ladders and the colour wraps and the colours used in that specific piece. This then translated into a three-dimensional piece with some tubes which were filled with rice, as I'd started to look at the idea of sound and movement of the pieces, which could actually still be worn, or we can play with this as an individual object or sculpture, as we can see here. And then through here we can see that I continue to use the body as a platform because I want to look at the durability and the wearability of my materials with the knitting. Through here I have looked at tubes and stripes and put together a series of samples that were made from foam tubing. Actually it was pipe insulation. This is light and durable, and this piece performs pretty much very well on its own. You will be able to see all of these samples on my blog in video. And then again through here I've taken a simple colour palette, translated it into a three-dimensional piece to play with using the ideas of colour and tactility, and then again a colour wrap and how this performs with the body. Just a few more colourful pieces, and then these pieces are again tubes and stripes with balls that have been filled with rice to make sound, and these perform when the audience engage in playing with them. Through here I've got some samples of the durable mixed media. Some of these areas do resonate with the classroom that I've learnt in dyslexia education. Some of the techniques are quite complicated, so there is a good combination through here. And then some of the sampling purely focuses on the circle or the hole, which then moves forward in this project. And then at stages I do stop and have a little bit of a break, and I think it's important to continue to draw, and just drawing some of the knitted samples that came from knitting and mixed media. And then again this area of the final sample starts to look at the crinoline, and then through here some of the offcuts from the circles used from the drawing and painting actually gave me a secondary idea to make a double armoured piece, which is quite playful. Again, can be seen in detail on my blog, and then making documentation with illustrations and note making, which I still think is important because it's working with design and working out as to whether the idea is going to work. This through here is the pattern for the sleeved piece, and just making sure that it was equal and it's been counted with its stitches and its rows. And then again, just a quick illustration, a little bit more detailed and interrogating the work. Each of the final pieces will have a descriptive paragraph, and the first and the second piece that I've already accomplished are part of the story. I would like possibly my third piece to tell a story, and the idea from research would be something like that in the 70s and the 80s dyslexia was not in the curriculum, but creativity is just as equal as academic